What is a pastorale? Let's discover it in this video. Welcome to this new video. I'm Riccardo, a musicus practicus, and today let's talk about the pastorale, the typical idiomatic composition form of this period. So Christmas, the beginning of the year. Let's understand what is a pastorale and how it works. First of all, what is a pastorale? There is this beautiful book here called An Early Music Dictionary. Musical terms from British sources from the beginning of the, from the 16th century to the first half of the 18th century. This one. And if we go to the voice pastorale, we can see different, we can read different, several definitions by different authors. For example, this Blount wrote a pastorale, a song of herdsmen or shepherds. Another one wrote pastoral belonging to a shepherd or rural life, whence a pastoral song. Another one says pastoral, also a song or poem about herdsmen and husbandry. And then another one, Pepusch, pastorale, is an air composed after a very sweet, easy, gentle manner in imitation of those airs which shepherds are supposed to play. And another one, which is very interesting, is this one. So pastorale signifies an air, no, it's the same one, a shepherd's song or poem by way of dialogue between shepherds and shepherdess. I have to say thank you to Sean because there is also a schema called pastorella, which is in English shepherdess. And when I was preparing the Partimento method, chapter 6, because with this schemata we are in stage 6.8 of the Partimento method about Galan schemata, I got in trouble in pronouncing it shepherdess. But Sean from Ireland wrote a comment under the lesson, so he wrote three syllables, shepherdess. So thank you, Sean, and now let's start our analysis. So this environment of pastori, so and pastorelle, shepherds and shepherdess, it's very important for the pastorale. Why? Because many times we have an imitation of that instrument, how it's called, it's a bag, okay, we say cornamusa or zampogna in Italian, is a bagpipe, and for example this can be found in the beginning of this pastorale, sometimes also called Pifa or Pifa, they're very similar. This is in fact the Pifa from Handel Messiah. We will analyze two pastorale. One, which is this one, a Pifa by Handel Messiah, and another one by Zipoli for the organ. This is for the three instruments, but little orchestra, three instruments, and the other one is for the organ. So we analyze how the pastorale works, and then we will compose a pastorale. Now, let's start analyzing in this video this pastorale. Very famous, so I'm totally sure you already know it. Let's start playing. and then from the beginning up to the fine, up to the end. Now, what is one of the most important things we can see in this style, the pastorale? È a so-called drone bass, in Italian falso bordone or bordone, okay, falso bordone, which means or a pedal, along the degree imitating the bagpipe. In this pastorale and even in the other one we will analyze. Another element which is very typical of the pastorale is a succession of harmonies which are parallel thirds and parallel sixths. They are very important to define the character, the spirit of a pastorale. And the melody is so simple and at the same time so interesting, composed actually of just a scale, an hexachord. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi. Nothing more, with the middle voice moving in parallel thirds. In terms of Galan schemata, we can recognize two preenners, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi. And this creates the first phrase. So an opening, do, do, starting with the unison, and when we have the thirds, it continues with thirds. This way. Then, another very important thing of the pastorale, we haven't said this before, let's say it now, is a time signature. It's very common, 12/8, or otherwise 6/8, because it's a half. This is the time which is typical for the pastorale, especially 12/8, because we have this way a big phrase, and it's not so it's not so slow as maybe a Siciliana will be a little bit slower, or it's not a giga, it's not a... It's sweet, even the way to play it, sweet. This is the innocent, sweet, innocent, the correct word. Then, after the first phrase, we have another phrase. And the second phrase, as you can see, is based on the fifth degree. We have a little passage, 5/1, but then we stop on the fifth degree and we continue. And we finish here. Also, in this situation, we have parallel thirds. Parallel thirds here and here, only a little section where the lower voice continues independently here and here. And besides this, beyond these 2 points, parallel thirds or sixth, if inverted, are very important. Now, after this section of introduction, we have a more contrapuntal section, and here we can recognize a lot of interesting things. Invertible counterpoint. Let's analyze the bass. Mi, fa, re, do, and let's use colors. Mi, fa, re, ut. Now, so we are in the property of giut, of ciut. What does it mean, property of ciut? The concept of property and deduzione, deduction, is a new thing I've introduced in the new version of the solmization course Fa Mi e Mi Fa Sotto Musica, so the hexachordal solmization course, where you can also find another section with baroque solfeggio, so advanced baroque solfeggio by Leo Cotumacci and Aprile and Pastorella, and other new topics. One of these new topics is the deduzione. What is? Is the hexachord, the deduzione, so it's not something totally new. But the new concept about the deduzione is that when we find, for example, this E, to be mi, deduction of ut. Mi is a deduzione, deduction of ut. And where is ut? Mi, re, ut, ci, ut, ce, sol, fa, ut. When we are here, we have mi, fa, re, ut. So where is the what is this deduzione? This deduzione is F ut, because fa mi re ut. And so here we have the property of be duro, and here we have the property of bemolle. Then if we go in a tonal system with all the possible hexachords, the property we can say ci ut and F ut. But the principle of the deduzione and the property is to identify, to set the property if it is bemolle, be duro, be quadro, or even two more hexachords, which are another new thing I put in that course, which are the ordo be quadro giacente, so an hexachord starting on de la sol re, where we say mi in F fa ut and C sol fa ut, and the ordo bemolle nascosto, where we say ut in be fa be mi and in e fa. Here in the tonal system we are more free to transpose, to write in different keys. In the Renaissance they used to write music or without any flat, so natural, or with the flat. In this context we have the same passage, mi fa re do, mi fa re ut, mi fa re ut. And let's see what happens in the upper voices. We have do, re, mi, fa, ut, fa. Here, with the slower, and another color. No, blue. It's here. Do, re, mi, fa, ut, fa. As you can see. And very interesting thing, sol, fa. This sol, fa, mi is the same here. The difference between the two green passages is that here we have a little diminutions. So we have sol, fa, mi, sol, fa, mi, sol, fa, mi in C sol fa ut, while here in F fa ut, sol, fa, mi, la. Then the last section is a little bit different. Why? Because we are engaging a new phrase. So you can change something at the end of a phrase to start a new phrase. This is a very beautiful double suspension in terms of basso continuo and harmony. We write this 9/7, exactly 9/7. So we have 9/7 resolving into an 8/6 with a nibble in the bass. And notice one very important thing, that this melody, re, mi, fa, sol, is an imitation of the blue section. So, do, re, mi, fa, do, re, mi, fa, do, fa, re, mi, fa, sol. And after this section with imitations, and I want you to notice one more thing, that we have another sol, fa, mi, la. So, sol, fa, mi, la. This la, this note, is di la referred to F fa ut, la, sol, fa, mi, re, ut. And it is at the same time sol, fa, mi, re, ut of G ut, because after this B flat, we will get rid in this bar of B flat. So, sol, fa, mi, sol, fa, mi. Now, let's play again this and notice the middle voice. Pay attention to the middle voice. Do, re, mi, fa, do, fa, fa, sol, fa, mi, sol, fa, mi, la. And then it continues with parallel thirds. with the final gallant cadence. Gallant cadence because we have parallel thirds between the two upper voices, so it's a gallant cadence. All these things, gallant cadence, mi fa re ut, these passages, dissonances, suspension, sol fa mi, are all things you can learn in the partimento method, so join the partimento method, link in the description, because you can learn everything about everything. The most important thing, and then a lot of exercises, everything. It requires an entire life to learn everything about this style, composition in this style. Because if you can recognize this, analyze this, then you're able to compose like this, okay, as Handel. Now, after this cadence, we have a new section. The new section takes a modulation to the fifth degree, fa, sol, re, mi, fa, and in terms of syllables of solmization, hexachordal solmization, we have a fifth mutation, fa, sol, re, mi, fa, changing la into re, sol, la, re, mi, fa, which helps us to arrive to G major. And as you can see, we have the representation of the beginning just in a new key, at least the first bars, okay? So let's play it. And then it changes. Why? Because in terms of gallant schemata, this is a ponte, the fifth degree, so a long fifth degree, moving in parallel thirds up to the seventh. Look what I'm playing. This is a ponte. Now, all the things, and when I say that in the partimento method you can find and learn almost everything, I'm saying that you can learn almost everything, and that's true. Look here, ponte 6.12, you have also the exercises, so stay and play over the ponte. This is the structure of the ponte. As you can see, and you have also the partimentini, so partimentini based on the ponte, as you can see, with the given rules. And other exercises here. So the ponte is a pattern which consists in a long fifth degree where the upper voices mainly move in parallel thirds or parallel sixths. Then we can have other exceptions, okay, other situation, but this is mainly the ponte. An example, let's see if we can find an interesting example of the ponte here in this example by Johann Sebastian Bach. As you can see, the ponte starts here, long fifth degree, we are in G major, so the fifth degree is D. And the resolution of the ponte is on the same degree, so we do not have a 5-1 cadence, so it's not necessary for the ponte to reach the seventh and to resolve. No, the ponte stays on the fifth degree. Listen, after the fa super la, so the che sol fa ut, it's not necessary to resolve it. Listen very carefully, I'll play it again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, re, sol, la, fa. Your expectation is fa, re, sol, fa, mi, or you can engage a quintuple. But the ponte stays there. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, mi, re, mi, fa, re, sol, fa, mi, re. The ponte resolves this way, and then we have a new pattern, which is, in this case, Fenaroli. Or other patterns. In any case, we have the ponte which finishes there, and so this is a ponte. Long fifth degree. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, fa, mi, re, sol, la, fa, Very interesting connection with the ponte and then fonte. What follows is a fonte, because we have a section in A minor, this is a fonte, so a schema composed of a section in a minor key, in this case A minor, followed by the same melody, the same structure, a step down in a major key, minor plus major. Fa, mi, la, so, fa, do, fa. Why this? Because we have so instead, to be very precise in the bass line, we should write. This is just a connection of the two. So since the two voices, upper voices, are tied, we need to introduce something in the bass line, and so the continuo player will play this without G sharp, without G natural, but for example with G sharp, or just a 4/6, which is even better to introduce the sharp on this beat, but the structure is E with the resolution, followed by D, G, Mi, La, Re, Sol, or in with hexachords, so Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, Re, Sol, Do, Fa, this way. And it's a fonte because we have this phrase, which is in A minor, followed by the same phrase in G major. 1, 2, finishes, and it finishes here. So this is the fonte. Let's play again the fonte. La, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi. And this is very interesting. Why? Because at the beginning we had this purple section, let's use the color purple, which is the same we have here. The second bar is different because we have a printer, and here we have the monte. But this printer, la, sol, fa, mi, la, sol, fa, mi, is the same that we can find here after the fonte. La, sol, fa, mi. Yeah, here I wrote. Okay, the fonte finishes this point. We have the fonte, this fonte, which is the same fonte we had at the beginning, which was repeated two times, now 2 times again, this way, where instead of finishing with the second printer, la, sol, fa, mi, re, mi, la, sol, fa, mi, re, fa, we have a very interesting evaded cadence, so where the cadence is evaded, even if we cannot say it is a true cadence because we do not have the 5/1 in the bass, it's just a long first degree, but what is very interesting, that it concludes with a so-called cadward cadence, this way, written this way, cadward. Even the cadward cadence is in the partimento method, as I told you, there is all, and the final cadence. What is the cadward cadence? Is a particular aspect, gallant aspect of a cadence, which consists in a descending scale over a cadence, in this case from degree 1 or 8 to degree 1. And if we consider how the two voices are managed, we can see that they move in parallel thirds, so gallant cadence with the cadward cadence in the top. So not just a simple gallant cadence, but with the descending scale cadward cadence. And then we repeat this from the beginning. Now I'll play this Pifa entirely, listen to it very carefully, and now that you have all the tools to analyze and comprehend this piece, do your best to recognize each element. So parallel thirds, primer, imitations, counterpoint, especially in this middle section where we have the invertible counterpoint, and the ponte, the fonte, and see how Handel in a very masterful way managed to compose this very little short piece, but very interesting. And this was about the Pifa, and so the Pastorale, the first Pastorale. I remember you that if you are a member of Patreon, a musicus on Patreon, you can find the link in the description. Join Patreon. If you're already on Patreon, you already are. But if you don't already are on Patreon, join Patreon because there are exclusive things, and you can download all the analysis. So this analysis is here in the description. You can find a link to Patreon with the video, and attached to the video the PDF of the analysis. This way, with a little monthly membership, you can support all this project and have extra exclusive contents for your learning education every day, even other extra things you cannot find here on YouTube almost every day, depending on this period. In the last days have been playing a lot, all the days, so but now we are. In any case, see you in another video. Sometimes it takes very little to improve, just a little, but every day. You look at a sheet of music and it seems like a random collection of notes, and now you can't connect them. But if you know how to reveal the meaning and the connection between the notes, you can discover magical and wonderful paths hidden among the melodies and harmonies. You sit at the keyboard, but you don't know where to start composing or improvising a piece. But if you know the right techniques, even just with a few compositional elements, you can create something wonderful. You study a piece, you can play it technically well, but don't understand what's happening harmony and counterpoint wise. but if you change the perspective with which you read and play those notes, you can literally change the way you see them. That's actually a kind of magic. Every month, every week and every day you can have something special and valuable like this. Video analysis, a lot of PDFs analysis and handouts of pieces to truly understand what's happening in each passage, in each piece. Improvisation elements like this of the other day of how to improvise a fugue. Practical exercises to learn how to compose music and how to become better at improvising. Fugues, chorale, freeforms and more. Composition and improvisation pills to discover how the great composers crafted certain passages and learn to imitate them correctly. All of this on Patreon. So much content to explore, so much to learn and many preview projects to discover. Go to this link, choose the best level for you and start your adventure.